right out of my pants. Don't you know I got a little secret? It's the ace of hearts up my sleeve. And when I get home to my honey, she give me love like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. When I'm walking through my neighborhood, everybody knows I'm feeling good. See me smiling from my head to my feet. They say, ain't that Mr. Lucky coming down the street? Hey, that's me. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss my lips, when you touch me with your fingertips. I'm Mr. Lucky when you hold me tight. I'm Mr. Lucky when you kiss good night. Baby, they call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky, and I thank my stars above. You can call me Mr. Lucky, 'cause I'm lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. Call me Mr. Lucky in love. You know that's right. Baby, 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 baby.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What's shaking? On your Thursday night, hope you're having a good one. Tonight we're going to tell you about 8 tracks, but before we do, you can like, share, subscribe, notification bell, retweet, call a friend, do a watch party at your house. You can do all those things. We also have super chats available. Can you dig it? And you want to turn on your gifted memberships because people do donate quite generously and you could get a free membership. And that way you can watch our members only shows, which, well, I'll tell you about that in a second. But it'll be a blast. You'll enjoy it. Please hit that like button, though. We could really use that. We need to get our numbers back up. We were kicking ass. And then another show changed their time around, and now they've changed it back again. But we got to get our numbers back. Well, let me get through these not super chats. They're completely free of charge, courtesy of the Tom Kelly Show. Let's see here. Aku says, might stream tomorrow night depending on how far I get tonight. Well, hey now. All right, man. Jerry Lehane is back with us. He's been gone for a while. Says, by golly, it's Tom. It is. And Karen Garvey says, wonder how many gully heads tonight still own 8 tracks. Well, we'll get into that in a second. We'll find out. Hello, Jerry. Most cheerful chat room on the internet as voted by independent sources. People saying hi, people saying hi. Toby McGroby is here, and he is assembling, and I don't know why my voice cracked so badly. Toby McGroby is here. Jerry says, Dupa, I'm cleaning my storage units, so I will turn up an 8-track. The chef is in the house, probably making them fancy pizzas. Aku says, I stream on Twitch to avoid compilation. I don't know what compilation, I don't know what that... Dr. says, Toby, Chief. So remember that training film I was showing Sunday? Maybe Karen was here, and then it just shut me down. YouTube just shut me down, and it was the weirdest shutdown ever because some people could still see it. I could still see it. I hadn't gotten a notification. You guys were telling me some of you had seen. I got a copyright strike notice on that. Now, I don't want copyright strike notices because the first time you get one, you can't post or do anything for a week. So I got that notification, and I was like, I'm dead in the water for a week. And then I decided to contest it, to appeal it. And I've never done that before. Any other thing that they've said, hey, this, blah, blah. Because the warnings I'm used to getting are, this isn't a copyright strike, but there's some areas of the world, Andorra, French Guinea, whatever, that you can't do that. You can't play this in. So they'd say, do you want to just delete it? Yeah, just delete it. But this is copyright strike. So I appealed it, and guess what? I won the appeal. Well, that's why I'm on right now, is I won the appeal. But the point I'm getting at here is that members shows on the weekends, I got to figure out something to do. Whether it's me in public with my phone talking to people, I don't know what it's going to be. Anyway, autocorrect. Doctor says copyright strike, but that was public domain. Not only that, it was really transformative because I was stopping so frequently. And Doctor, you nailed it, because my appeal was, this property has long been in the public domain and it's transformative, as I was commenting on it frequently. That was it. That was one sentence. About 5 hours later, I got, your appeal has been approved, or whatever. But I got to figure out something to do for the members. So, falsely claiming a copyright is a perjury charge. Just their algorithm, Hail Doctorn. There we go. So anyway, that's what happened. That's what happened. Well, I'm sitting here going, I watch these reaction videos of movies, full movies. Now, they edit them down, so instead of an hour and a half, it's 45 minutes, but still, it's all of the major points of the movie. And they're showing the clips, they're doing the whole 9 yards, they mute the music when they have to, but it's like, how do they get away with that? And I can't show stuff that's public domain. It was cheesing me off pretty bad. It was pretty mad. I've kind of stayed out of a lot of this steel toe stuff. But the algorithm, because I watched something, I don't know what, has decided that I want nothing but steel toe coverage. And I've watched his last two broadcasts. Very punchable face. This guy is approaching Stuttering John level buffoonery. I mean, how do you marry a much younger hot chick, have her on your show, have her doing all your stuff, then you get involved in a polycule, whatever they're calling it. It's basically wife swapping. And you lose your wife to the other guy and whatever creature comforts he may offer, or pharmaceuticals. And all three of them want nothing to do with you. You rat them out to child services. Now the kids are involved and they're all being charged with stuff. Then you violate a restraining order. Then you send adult pictures to people you shouldn't be sending them to, and then you're up for charges on that. Could be felony. How do you do that? How does that happen? I've been broadcasting now for, 44, 48 years? Something like that. Getting close, anyway. And never a criminal charge. I've managed to avoid the law. And that's one thing that I think about. How do you do that? How do you... Man, that plane is not going to land on it. It is auguring straight into the ground. And then, how in the hell do you go online and start talking about, hey, they put me in a holding cell. It was really kind of cool. Read a book, got a couple naps in. It's just kind of like a hotel with bar. What? If I was in your shoes, I wouldn't speak of it. I'd crawl under a rock for a couple of weeks or something. But man, oh man, oh man. That's some delusion. That's some everything's fine. I mean, he's got so much criticism for everybody else in the whole situation, but it's like, dude, you shouldn't be casting. You can't point fingers at anybody right now. Yeah. Let's see here. Steel blows. That's true. Hail, Doctor. Tyranny, you're right. It is. Hey, but more followers, making more money than me on this thing. So, yeah. What's that tell you? It tells me, first of all, I would love to be involved in a swapping situation, but you'll have to provide both girls. Anything that can get numbers. Aku says, if it makes you feel better, Tom, while streaming the repair process of this truck, the highest view count I had was 3. I'm up to 6 followers in a week. Everybody go follow Aku over there on Twitch. Hey now, it is SG Fanboy, the living legend and creator of the Blowing a Kiss Tom Gully Derby girl, who doesn't show quite as much cleavage. Doctor says, where I wear a full face mask when I do TikTok videos, the punchable face. People saying, uh-oh. You hear it? I don't know if you can hear it or not, but it's, yeah. Yes, FG Fanboy, the living legend, is on deck. Karen Garvey, of course, is here. People saying hi. Jerry LaHaye says, different generation takes no responsibility. I guess. Better question is how many times he rubbed one out to his mugshot. Another W for the toe. Yeah, man. What is 07? Okay, Randy, if you look at that, it looks a little bit like someone saluting. Someone saluting. That's what it is. It's a salute. It's a salute. It's a stick man saluting. We're indebted to you and Marconi. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please try to keep your applause to a minimum till the very end of the presentation. Manzanita Soul, and I'm backing that up. I'm not messing around tonight. I am backing that up with Dr. Pepper, strawberries and cream, 0 sugar. Bringing out the big guns. The Doc Torn says, one of these days, that ice cream truck is going to drive by and Tom is going to get up and handle business. Well, the other day, I was leaving as that guy was pulling in. It's a weekend day. But I didn't. Exciting, huh? All right, kids. I've got my thing open. Well, I've got my thing open. My thing is wide open, throbbing, right, and pulsating, just for you. Yeah, I don't get that, dude. Everybody's talking about that whole thing, and I'm just like, God. And he apparently, there's 2 videos. Each one of them is over 2 hours. And it's just Steel Toe talking about Nick Rekieta's wife. That's over 4 hours on his show. Dummy up, dude. Dummy up. You don't look cool. You don't look bad boy. You don't look shock jock. You look stupid. Odin's beard. Tom's running in pure caffeine. Great Hogan's goat. Anyway. It's... Let's see here. I don't know what that's. I'm not. Toby McGrovey is giving me $5 in Canadian currency. Thank you, Toby. It's a small reward for not attacking the ice cream truck yet. Randy says, I've seen on Facebook where the people on Sister Wives are saying quite negative things about their whole situation. Yeah. Dude, it might be Mormons and they're supposed to be nice and genteel and all that. They're still women. They're still going to bicker and argue amongst each other. Damn it, it blocked my chat. I didn't. Whoever did it without my authority. Toby for the win. Yes, thank you, Toby. We've now achieved our goal, which is any amount of money. I don't know why I'm so amused by that, but I am. But I am. Hey, why don't we get down to brass tacks here, shall we? Why don't we get down to brass tacks? An 8-track tape, a lot of people call them 8-track cartridges, 8-track tapes, 8 tracks. They're formerly called Stereo 8, which... All right, I'm only going to explain this once. An 8-track has 8 different tracks of sound on it. However, 2 tracks together make stereo. Okay? So when you couple 2 tracks together, you then have 4 different programs, if you will. That's what they were called. And so basically, the head of the recorder is listening to this 2 tracks in stereo, and then ka-click, it goes down to another one. Ka-click, it goes down to another one. And ka-click, it goes down to a final one. Okay? It was popular from the mid-'60s to the early 80s. And in the early 80s, the compact cassette, a cassette tape, which those were actually older than 8 tracks. Anyway, those surpassed it in popularity for pre-recorded music. They were smaller, so you could have more of them in your car. And the sound quality was better, and we'll get into that a little bit too. So cassettes took that over. It was like, man, one day you buy 8 tracks, the next day you couldn't find one. I had a friend who went to cassettes really early. The other thing about a cassette is a cassette player didn't take up nearly as much room in your car dashboard or whatever else. But anyway, I had a friend that went to cassettes really early, and he left me all of his 8 tracks, and he had amazing taste in music. And he had like a stereo component 8-track player. It was a Wallensack, and it would record too. So, and I kept those till about 10 years ago, when one day I got out the thing and I plugged it in. The player worked fine. However, those tapes, when they got to the program change where they were spliced together, that splice would give away when it went from program to program. So I just quit playing them, threw everything away. 8 tracks were probably most commonly in cars, and they were most popular in the US and Canada, a little bit in the UK, a little bit in Ireland, a little bit in Japan. The big advantage that the 8-track had was that it could play continuously in an endless loop, okay? And it didn't have to be ejected or turned over or reinserted, you know. And there's no rewind on an 8-track. You can fast forward, you can't rewind. The cartridge was created in 1964 by, this is a weird group of people to all be together, okay? Bill Lear of the Learjet Corporation. By the way, one of the early names for this product was Learjet 8 or something like that. But anyway, Learjet, for whatever reason, was on board with Ampex, which is a big recording equipment company, Ford Motor Company, General Motors, Motorola, and RCA Victor. So you had a jet company, a couple of car companies, and then a bunch of sort of, you know, sound equipment, hard goods type people. Obviously, it's considered obsolete now. There are collectors, however, who refurbish those. And there are some bands that issue 8-tracks on a novelty basis. 2009, Cheap Trick's The Latest was issued on 8-track, as was Dolly Parton's A Holly Dolly Christmas in 2020. And the 8-track has an exclusive bonus track you can't get anywhere else. Little Lost Girl Media in Oregon is still currently making 8-tracks and runs mostly 8-track punk, rock and roll record label. There are about 5 small independent record labels that manufacture 8-track cartridges currently. And let me just show you something here, because I can show you the guts of an 8-track. And if you look at this, this is the exact same setup in terms of the mechanism inside as they use for carts at radio stations. Because at radio stations, you have to make carts of different lengths. So you learn how to make these. And that's the guts of it. There's the spool, goes through there. Just next to the Tom Gully Show logo, you'll see a large black rubber disc. And that is the pinch wheel. And probably the major advancement in 8-track technology was when they started putting the pinch wheel, which pinches the tape so it can go through, inside the cartridge rather than inside the player. There you go. Bet you didn't know that. Bet you didn't know that. The cartridge's dimensions are about 5 1/4 by 4 by 8/10 of an inch, almost an inch. You guys have all seen them. It's almost the size of a paperback book or something of that nature. Man, I don't want to get super into the development of this. Inventor George Eash invented a design in 1953 called the Fidel Pack cartridge, also the NAB cartridge. So, yeah. The big, like what ended up being Stereo 8. Let me see if I've got this picture here. I do not. I should have that, but I don't. I'm just going to show you. This one's kind of cool because it's got one in the actual dash, and that's the Blues Brothers briefcase full of blues. I actually had that 8-track, and it actually was in my car. The thing that finally became 8-track was called the Learjet Stereo 8 cartridge, and it was done in 1963. The major change was that pinch roller change that I mentioned. So the mechanical complexity of the player was radically diminished because it didn't have to pull the tape in, weave it around that pinch wheel. It was done right there in the cartridge. And it also eliminated some of the internal parts. You know, so there you go. The old ones were prone to jamming. The Learjet Stereo 8s did not jam. Now, they tried to do a lot of 2-album sales back in those days. You couldn't do that with an 8-track. You couldn't put all of it on one unit. Now, I did buy and I did have double set 8-tracks. They're a pain in the ass. A big pain in the ass. If an album ran over 50 minutes, which is about half the time that could be recorded on a stereo 8-track, for a long time, the longest was 80 minutes, but then they started making a 100-minute one. It was a little problematic because of the power it took to keep turning that much tape. You add 20% more tape. But anyway, producers would sometimes edit songs. They would either chop them down, take them out. So there you go. Popularity of both 4- and 8-track cartridges grew from the booming automobile industry. In September of 1965, the Ford Motor Company introduced factory-installed and dealer-installed 8-track tape players as an option on 3 of its 1966 models: the Mustang, the sporty Mustang, the luxurious Thunderbird, and the high-end Lincoln. Okay, and RCA Victor introduced cartridges the same year, and RCA had a special label of recording artist catalogs on 8-track. By the very next model year, by 1967's model year, all 100% of Ford's vehicles offered this tape player upgrade option. Most of the initial factory installations were separate players from the radio, such as you don't see in the visual I'm showing now. It typically was not a part of the dash. It was typically right underneath the dash, many times right behind the gear shift if you had a floor gear shift. So there you go. They introduced home players, but those weren't the greatest. The thing about 8-tracks is that those 8 tracks had to be very precisely lined up with the play head. Every tape player has 3 heads: erase, record, and play. That play head had to be dead on that track, or it would sound muddy or like it was underwater, or sometimes you could even hear a little bit of music from one of the other tracks. A lot of people, I was one of them, would have a matchbook in their car so they could insert it underneath that 8-track to get it to that playhead to go up or down. Because when you think about it, that tape was coming spooled onto this commercially produced cartridge. You don't know how that's going to be dished out to the player. It could ride up, down. You don't know how it's being stored. So you had to really jimmy that 8-track to get it to sound pristine. Now, once you did get it sounding pristine, oh, it was great. It was just as good as anything else. But if you hit a bump, or you always had a couple of 8-tracks that were good as gold, that like you didn't have to do anything to. You just put them in there. They played perfectly. But I'd say 3/4 of them, you had to get the matchbook or a piece of cardboard folded, or whatever you wanted to use. Whatever. By the way, my first 8-track player was a Cube. It was called the Cube, by the way. It was a Cube, and it was it had a AM/FM radio player, and then a slot for, because it went through the top. Bam! Had a handle on it so you could carry it around, and then it had 2 speakers made up the Cube, so you could detach those speakers and put them far away from each other or whatever. That was my first 8-track. Yeah, so there was like a boombox, portable, 1978 was the peak year for 8-track sales, with sales declining rapidly from then on. 8-track players became less common in homes and vehicles in the late 1970s, obviously dwarfed by the compact cassette, which arrived in 1963. But by 1980, just 2 years later, the 8-track was already being phased out in favor of cassettes, whose sales were rapidly increasing, partially due to the success of the Walkman. Once those Walkmans came out, man, everybody went to cassette. And by 83, LPs were pretty much out the door anyway. So in the U.S., 8-track cartridges were phased out of retail stores in late 1982 and early 1983. However, some titles were still available as 8-track tapes through Columbia House and RCA Music Club until late 1988. Until 1999, Radio Shack continued to sell blank 8-track cartridges and players for home recording use under its Realistic brand. And the last for sale 8-track tape I saw was at a truck stop, a Flying Triple J or something. Am I froze? I'm frozen. Hold on. What the hell's going on here? Oh, for the love of Mike. Oh, for the love of Pete. What's going on here? Oh, for crepe sakes. How long have I been frozen, kids? Well, it looks like a long time. 7:25? Oh, I don't know. Maybe not that long. We'll see. Let's see if I can get going again here, kids. I'll do my best. It's supposed to be helping. They're not helping. Oh, it's already done. And we're back on the track in Indy. Let's go through some of your comments. How about we do that? Because people love it when we do that. And by the way, thank you, StreamYard. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, Tom broke the camera. That was a while ago. Well, hopefully you heard me. Let's see. Oh, God, there's a lot of quotes to go through here. All right, that was... YouTube did, Tom, apparently. I don't know what that means. YouTube did what? That was rude of YouTube. I don't know what happened then. So With cassette tapes having side A and side B, it's only logical they'd be followed by a CD. That's funny. Aku said, I'd imagine all those tapes would have rotted away by now. Nope, they're still out there. Although, you make a good point. Some of the tapes were manufactured on plastic that was sprayed with the magnetic material that holds the sound. Others were metal and were recorded onto. And so, you know, the metal ones will last a lot longer. Wild Bill says, I still have an 8-track recorder with some blanks tape. You have to replace them to keep them working. Yeah, you do. I also still have a car quad system. Speaking of 8-tracks, people saying hi. People saying hi. The pinch wheel, yeah. Yeah, you got the pinch wheel. Reverend Bill upgraded his Model T with an 8-track. Clean the pinch wheel with a Q-tip and alcohol. I'm glad you're covering this. I haven't even touched one before, let alone seen one. That sounded weird. Oh, yeah. Paperback book or paperback writer. Paperback writer. Terry Nee had to be styling. Yeah, he was high-siding. Freeze frame. Okay, so I guess that happened. So I guess I was frozen for about 6 minutes. What a bitch. Dupa says it was. I was a kid, but it was weird. When the tape switch track, the song would fade out, then come back. Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be like... Roxanne. Click, click. The days are over. You don't have to spend your money. And you knew, like, when a song ended, you could go click, click to go to another program because there was a song you liked better that was coming up. You knew all the shortcuts, man. Tierney says, I listened to Beatles 101 string orchestra 8-track out in the family car. I loved it. Yeah. Asking for a friend, is there a video feed problem? Audio is great. Yeah, there was. Tom broke the camera. Yeah, it's happened before. Sometimes when we switch from one medium to another, it feels premature. Some people prefer cassettes to CDs, etc. But 8-track to cassette sounds like a much-needed transition. I don't know if it was needed, but it was time. It was just easier. And cassettes just had the 2 tracks on them for stereo. So they were always lined up, man. It was just a better thing. I mean, an 8-track was about yay big and about yay thick. So 10 8-tracks filled up a shoebox. You could put 40 cassette tapes in a shoebox. So thank you, Terry Nee. Wanted to make sure it wasn't the machine's fault on this end. There we go. Hungus Mungus, also known as Sven Dunkel, says, hi, Tom. Evening, guys. Reverend Wild Bill says, and to own an 8-track, you had to keep matchbooks in the car. Yeah, spoiler alert. Mother. Fucking time. Hail Hungus. Hi, Bill. My first 8-track was an under dash mount. Wild Bill, was it a realistic or was it a Sparkomatic or did you get something good? 3/4 of them needed a matchbook for your own, or was that pretty much for everyone? I'd say that was pretty much 3/4 of those 8-tracks needed a matchbook to make them play perfectly. Karen Garvey says, exactly, when then the Walkman was a godsend. Getting to play music while you went for a run was incredible. Oh, it was. Or just anywhere that you were. You know, in a library, walking down the street, waiting at the DMV. I mean, it was great. People saying hi. Yellow Dynamite 8-track was a desire of mine. I'm not familiar with that, Terry Nee. What is that? Wild Bill, the Doctorn. I know, right, Tom? We'll say it's only on my machine. No, I won't. It was on my machine. How can it only be on your machine? Audio is perfect. It's just the video. Okay. I think I got it fixed. Let it go. Let it go. A long time. Audio is 100%. Aku says, I believe Sony just announced a few months back they are discontinuing the production of cassette Walkman. Somebody else will pick up they'll license it out, or you'll be able to get a Walkman like thing, you know. Audio is the best it's ever been. Yeah, the audio is incredible. YouTube can't handle how tense and Tom's face is, says Doctor. Well, thank you. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. Really can use those likes to help us with the almighty algorithm. Of course, we have super chats and memberships, and you can turn on gifted memberships. You know, we love it when you super chat us. We like to make a little coin on this. But truthfully, we've already met our goal, which is any amount of money. Good old violence. Randy said, is that where we get muddy waters? McKinley Morganfield? Toby McGrovey says, Sony cassette Walkman still available in Metal Gear Solid. That's awesome. Reverend Wild Bill says, Julian Zeezer, I was able to record 8-track at home with the recorder I had made by Radio Shack Lab Series. I still have the recorder with some blank tapes. Yes. Blues Brothers 8-track is in the photo beside Tom. That movie turned me on to so many great musicians. Well, and like I said, when I saw that photo, I immediately said, I got to have this one, because that was one of my go-to 8-track tapes. That was one of my, oh man, was that. I had a friend that used to make fun of me. He goes, Tom got a new album. Time for him to rivet it to the turntable. Because when I would get a new thing or some music I liked, I'd listen to it like crazy. He'd go, doo, doo, doo. He was a funny guy. 8-tracks were cool. Yes, Lyndon, they were. Good to see you, Lyndon. Akko says there was also adult entertainment that made it onto 8-track. Thanks to O&A. I've heard it and can't imagine that was ever sexy. Yeah, Akko, I've heard those too. Let me tell you something, you Randy harlot. Yeah, I've heard those too. And they're horrifying. Downside of 8-track fades. Yep. Click. Yep. The only reason cassette was better is because you can't fast forward 8-track. Yeah, you can. I don't think my car unit had a fast forward, but my home stereo component one had fast forward. And it was awesome, but it also took a long time. You'd fast forward it and you wait 30 seconds and the song had fast forwarded 30 seconds. Reverend Mon Bill says, my first one was Radio Shack. Yeah, that was the other thing about 8-track, was that the tape was cheap and so were the players. Those 8-track players, you could get them for nothing. And cassette players were actually a little more expensive. Jackie Martling used micro cassettes to tape his live gigs. Yeah, those micro cassettes were all the vogue, as were the micro SD recordings. It's more of a production-oriented product. It was not a mass consumer product, so it Just never got big. Hungus says, I had an audiobook over 24 tapes long. Good gravy. Terry Nee says, you don't remember the Jimmy Walker Dynamite portable 8-track player? I do. Dynamite. That was another one that you popped the thing in from the top or the side. It was available in a wide variety of fashion colors and stuff. Yeah, they tried to hip that up pretty bad. Wild Bill says, Jerry Lane, are you talking about DAT tape? Algorithm. Yes, the almighty algorithm. Doctor says, like, share, subscribe. Toss a coin to your Witcher. It's all good. Terry Nee, once again, has opened his philanthropic heart and has made us all here at the Tom Gully Show very happy by his donation of any amount of money. Note bill like phone machines, same width as cassette. There was a point in time in the 90s where there were all these new formats coming out, and it was just like, what the... All these new SDHD digital magnetic formats were coming out. Reverend Wild Bill says, my go-to 8-track was Billy Thorpe's Children of the Sun. Cool. He liked it so much, he said it twice. If you want to insult a wannabe adult film entertainer, tell them you have a body for 8-track audio. I've heard the last I want you, rich. Oops, glitch in the Matrix. That's okay. Jerry Lane says, Terry is one of the men who say knee. Are you one of those, Terry? What am I at here? A bunch of these. Every technology has its physical limits. Tapes had hard limits to storage space. Yes, they did. Well, almost everything's got a hard limit to storage space. The dynamite player looked like a detonator. Yes, it had that little grip thing, and you could hit it, and it would go to the next program and stuff. Oh, yeah, all the cool kids had one of those. I had the Cube. So, Reverend Wild Bill says, at one time they thought DAT tape was going to take over cassette. I had a player and did not last. Yeah, I mean, they used it a lot for a long time in professional audio recording. But it kind of went the way of beta. It was still around, but it was only been used on high-end professional stuff, so it just didn't have that mass ubiquity. Yeah, my mother, God bless her soul, I think is responsible for me getting the 8-track player, because sometimes I want to listen to music in my bedroom because that's where the stereo was. And I roomed with my little brother, so he'd pitch a fit or whatever. So with that, I could go anywhere. I could go in the backyard. I could go wherever I wanted. I could listen to music, headphones, whatever. But when she got me the 8-track, it was for Christmas. This is just a wonderful gift giver. She knew you don't just give somebody an 8-track and good luck to you. You got to give them a couple albums to play. So she got me these, Reverend Wild Bill and Terry Nee, I know for a fact will remember these. There used to be these K-Tel records that you could get that were hits of 1975. And the bands that played them, it wasn't the original artists. It was a sound-alike. And some of these songs, you couldn't tell the difference. You're like, that's the song. And then you listen and listen and listen. Maybe it's not. Some of them weren't. But she got me a bunch of stuff that I'm sure was in the cutout bin. And a couple of those things to this day. She got me the Jim Stafford album, Jim Stafford. She got me hits of 19 whatever. She got me the soundtrack from Shaft, not done by the original artist. Well, it's all instrumental, so it sounded great. Anyway. Plastic Detonator. Yeah, that's what that sucker looked like. I am Jerry. He does say knee. Terry Nee does say knee. Kind of went the way Beta Tape did. Yes. Yes, Reverend Wabell. Actually, how much space did a tape have? I doubt it was a megabyte. Well, what kind of tape? An 8-track tape held, most of them held 80 minutes. They did make a 100-minute and 120-minute, but the regular standard one was 80 minutes. You could get 2-hour cassette, but I mostly had 90 minutes was the longest, but most of your albums and stuff were as long as the album, and they would cut the tape to just as long as the sound on it. There wouldn't be any extra. So it was just the length of the album. Didn't DAT stand for digital audio tape? Yes, it did. The first laser disc. No, I'm not even going to dignify the laser disc. Billy, Don't Be a Hero. Cover bands. Don't be a fool with your life. K-Tel. Yes. Commercials. It's like Jerry Lehane is writing a haiku or playing word association game with someone in the room. Not a clue, Boomer. I don't know what that's in reference to. Karen Garvey says, do you remember the 3.5-inch hard disk? I do remember that. Still have some. The Knights Who Say Knee. We would like a shrubbery. We are no longer the Knights Who Say Knee. We are now the Knights Who Say Icky-pa-ting. The Tijuana Brass. Herp Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. I know a floppy disk held a fistful of megabytes. Be right back. Going to ask Google. Oh, which floppy disk? Because they were originally floppy disks were like that big. Then they got down to the ones that are this big. For a while there, jazz drives were a big deal. Remember Jazz Drive? Anybody remember the Jazz Drive? Anybody remember the SciQuest? I remember it all. I don't think, not many. Jerry and his haikus. Jerry, you and your haikus. What do we got here? Let me tell you a secret. My phone lines have been open since the start of the show. Sometimes I just open them. See if some random... the weird thing about this is I do get calls and texts when I'm not doing the show. The only time I'm on this phone line is when I'm doing the show. And sometimes when I log in, there'll be someone's called me or left me a message. Wow. Reverend Wild Bill says, a great instrumental group, The Ventures. The Ventures are awesome. Terry Nee says, a vintage boombox in good condition is insanely expensive. Well, have you seen why? It's because you can't go try to find a AM/FM radio player with a CD player and or cassette. They're almost impossible to find now. Everything's Bluetooth. What's going on, Wild Bill?
Well, just let me silly and call me Mary. How you doing, Mr. Gully?
I'm doing just fine.
Well, I'm just glad you're doing honky-dory.
Yeah.
Been a while since I've called, and I just thought I'd see if my phone still works.
It does.
Damn it, they ain't cut it off yet. Oh, well. So anyway, how things been going?
Fine.
That's good. That's good.
How are they going with you?
They going. like always, you know how that goes. Just can't fix stupid, and you have to put up with it.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah.
It's extremely true, yes.
But yeah. But did you ever get to experience one of those quad players, though?
Yeah.
I remember the first time somebody gave me one, it was a quad player, because I thought it was an 8-track, you know. Now, you could play an 8-track in it, but there was only one catch to it. You only heard half the music.
Yeah.
Because it was a 4-track instead of an 8-track.
Right.
But anyways, so when they introduced me to it, because that's the one, you know, where an 8-track is stereo, so it uses 2 speakers. Where a quad system uses 4 separate speakers. And I got that, set it up in the car, because this was a car unit. This wasn't a home unit. This was a under-dash car unit. Mm-hmm. Got that. Quad tapes were just about impossible to find. But I found one. You remember of a gentleman named Isotomita?
No.
Okay, he did this one. He was a Moog simplifier. Moog. He played the Moog. This back early days, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, you know, when the Moog simplifier was out.
Right.
But anyway, he did a song. It was about a cat and a bird. And what it is, you'd be sitting in the car, in the right state of mind, of course. You plug that tape in, and about that time, you hear that cat chasing that bird all the way around the car, from speaker to speaker to speaker to speaker. It was split that perfect. I mean, it was great.
Made it all worth it.
Yeah, I think I only had 2 tapes. Isotomita was one of them, and then I had one other quad tape. Never could find any more.
Yeah. You probably remember when you could go into a record store and buy a reel-to-reel of a studio album.
Oh yeah, I got a few of them.
Yeah.
That goes. I've still got a TIAC. Reel to reel, reel to reel. And I think it's a. What would I say? Mine's an 16 channel or 8 channel.
Well,
or track, you know what I mean? Track. I meant track. I can't remember. It was somebody gave it to me. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
But never did really use it because I didn't use all. You know, I was interested in stereo. You know, and I wasn't in it. And this is one of those reel to reels like you would be a recording studio type thing. But yeah, I had a few albums on reel to reel that I used to play on that. Yeah, good quality too.
Oh yeah, it was great. I used to record things on my reel to reel. There was a buddy of mine lived in Cleveland, and WMMX in Cleveland used to record. They used to broadcast live concerts. So somewhere in a box, I've got live from the late 70s, early 80s, live concerts in Cleveland. Springsteen.
On tape.
The Eagles, yeah. From over the radio.
Those could be worth a couple of dollars, you know? Yeah,
but the thing about audio tape is, unless you store it in the perfect, climate,
dark, cold area,
you couldn't even probably store it as a consumer. You'd have to be in a facility or something. Audio tape shrinks.
Oh, okay.
And so when tape shrinks, the pitch goes up because the tape gets a little smaller. So now
it goes faster.
Yeah.
And the pitch goes up. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
So.
I didn't. Okay, see, I never thought about that.
Yeah. So that's
things that make you go.
That's why some of my old tapes from my old radio shows, when I play them for you guys,
sound a little off.
I sound like I'm 10 years old a little bit. Yeah, not all of them, because I converted a bunch of them. But there's a bunch of them that I did actually do my air checks on cassette rather than reel to reel. I had one other place where I did them all on reel to reel, but The cassette ones, I left that box out in my car for like a whole summer. So those just got
they were shot.
baked. Doc Thorne says, so Tom's got a box of tapes from when music is good. I do. Karen Garvey says, would love to see a show where Tom is in public, wears an earpiece, and Terry Nee gets to tell Tom what to ask strangers, then vice versa. Not original, but it would be hilarious. Yeah. Get my ass beat. Cassette Grateful Dead, cassette bootlegs were the thing with my Deadhead friends. Actually, you can go on Internet Archive. Has tons of those converted to digital. Not just the Grateful Dead, but tons of bootleg recordings, a lot of times recorded through the board at the concert. I shrink too, but my pitch goes down. I'm sorry to hear that, Jerry. I'm in, Dupa. So what else is going on down there, Bill?
Well, nothing much. You know, and when he's talking about tapes, I just thought about something. My son, Skyler, him and another buddy they were doing a job down in Atlanta and got hooked up, and there was a school down there getting rid of
students and teachers?
No, they were getting rid of some classic tapes, movies.
Wow, because I know a school down in your area just got rid of some students and teachers.
Oh, that's north of me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that was north of me. That's where they were. That was north of me about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
I was at my old radio station, my high school radio station, and we were cleaning out this old closet, and they had the Armed Forces Network. Or the Armed Forces sponsored a show that was like American Top 40. Only it was hosted by Wolfman Jack.
Oh wow!
And I probably took out of there. I mean, my car was completely full. They would send out one or two albums a week. I want to say it was 2. And you'd play those albums on the air. That was the show. They'd send them to you.
Right.
And so, but they had really nice boxes and stuff that came in. And they were all just stacked up. And I said, what are we going to do with these? And he goes, throw them away.
Yeah.
Can I have them? Yeah. And I did.
Take 'em.
I did for a long time.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened with this. Dude, he works for that environmental company, and they came in. They had somebody that was going to buy them. Not my son, but the school never showed up. And he got a hold of my son, and got a hold of a worker under him, which then he came to Skyler, and they're going to do it together. But the guy came back who was in charge of the archives, media archives.
Yeah.
And now this is a college now, a big college.
Yeah.
Just told him, said, throw them away. Because he asked me, he said, what about the guy that was going to buy them? He said he never got hold. He said, just get rid of them. They're like some of your first releases of Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
John Wayne. All these kind of different movies. And they're just throwing them away. So they told Skyler and his buddy, y'all come get them. You can take them all and have them.
Well,
and they've been kept, and these were kept properly. So they're still really good.
When I was working for the school district, we had a summer project that I worked on, which was converting all the overhead lighting in all of the schools from fluorescent to LED. And so you had to take the baffles out of them and put new ones in, and then the new lights, of course. But what are you going to do with all these fluorescents? They're still good. And we're talking thousands of them.
Talking about fluorescent tubes, right?
Yeah. And
okay.
And so,
what are you going to do?
I started taking the empty LED boxes and putting the fluorescents in them. And then I would just go to a business or a farm that I knew that had
And
a lot
just
of
give 'em to
fluorescent
'em.
lights, and I'd say, "Hey, man, we're going to throw these away. You want them?"
Yep.
And they'd say, "Yes, oh God, of course." And here you go.
And you just saved them a bunch of money.
I did a lot of money, as a matter of fact,
And they'll remember that too.
and I'm helping them because if I was really wanting to help them, I'd say you ought to just switch over to LED right now. The money that you save in 1 year will pay for.
But the thing is, though, you just saved them money for a year, though, by giving them those.
Well, that's my thing is
but when those,
I helped
when
them.
those die out, though, then go LED. And
I helped
you
them.
put them in.
I helped them get closer by giving them that year. So.
Right, that's what I'm saying, and then hire you to put them in for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
that was it.
In my dwelling, they had fluorescent lights in the kitchen, and I just called the guy up and went, "Hey man, I'm
going LED and everything as much as I can."
The LED light is so much cleaner and brighter and nicer. And I just told the guy, I just went, "Hey, you know what? I can't have fluorescent. It's okay if I put LEDs in here." He goes, "Well, it is, but I don't know how long it'll be before I can get somebody out there." And I just started laughing because it's like, dude, I probably swapped out 2,000 of these this summer. I think I could do it myself in about 90
like I said,
seconds.
that's what I've been going to pretty much is LEDs. And when I go for the whites, what I do is I go for the I like them back because it's kind of a bluish tint, the daylights.
Yeah.
They're kind of a blue-white.
Yeah.
And they don't hurt my eyes as bad as what the
I got one.
the yellow.
I like the ones. I like the plaid light.
And I've got some of those in my room in here, especially when I go to a rave. I can have them come on, and they just throw me a party in here with these LEDs.
Gotcha.
I got a bunch of LEDs here in the room. You know the room.
Oh, I know the room.
You know the room.
Aku says if anyone's interested, there was a guy who ran a pirate radio show out of a relax parlor in Vietnam. The guy's name was Dave Rabbit, radio first termer. I'm familiar with Dave Rabbit. And Toby McGrovey says, yes.
And who was it that who was the DJ over there that Robin Williams did?
Adrian Cronauer.
Adrian Cronauer. Right. A lot of people don't realize he was a real DJ over there, but he was.
Yeah, although if you listen to Adrian Cronauer, nothing like Robin Williams in that movie.
Oh, he wasn't?
No.
He wasn't? Okay.
Not nearly as good. I'm sure he did
the radio station I got to listen to was over in Thailand.
I'm sure he did a nice job for him over there and stuff, and it was better than they could have gotten elsewhere, but there's plenty of audio of him that exists on YouTube and everywhere else. Terry Nee says, scam in the 80s was calling businesses purchasing departments and overcharging for fluorescent bulbs and toner cartridges, especially those toner cartridges. Jesus. Let's see. He played the hits of the day, gave info about MP raids, all while off his rocker on drugs. Think opposite delivery of Good Morning Vietnam. Love the white blue, except in the bathroom mirror. I look undead under that hue. You got a big weekend planned?
This weekend? I don't know. It depends. It's starting to cool down.
I know.
And now since it's starting to cool down, I can now actually venture outside. So I'm thinking of trying to get up a little nighttime investigation. I just can't decide where yet.
Well, I'm sure you'll find a place.
Well, my niece has been wanting me to come out to where she lives out there near Alabama, and out near Taylor Digger. And she's got some places out there she was talking about. I might get my equipment together and go out there and pick her up and go out there and do a little bit out there.
Here's a big announcement. Aku will have his first full weekend off in 3 months.
Hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Yeah, until May.
Just don't answer the phone if they try to call you.
Until May, Aku. I didn't have a day off for like a year and a half. Today's T-shirt, the Carbright 400. Anyway, this is Randy's telling us Adrian Cronauer gave a speech at the USS Indianapolis Memorial. I was able to see and hear him. Cool. No injuries, hopefully. Aku, yeah.
Well, Mr. Gully.
Yeah.
Tell you, there's that Carbright 4. See, there's that big of a lag. I just now saw the Carbright 400. There's that big of a lag tonight. Wow. But anyway,
I think that's the same lag as it ours.
Yeah, it might be. It might be. It wasn't that long. It was just a few seconds. But anyway, Mr. Gully, like I said, I just wanted to call tonight, just say hello. It'd been a while, and since you went, you had to go, and the phone's been on all night. Because I've tried to call and I just get that and I just never did it until waiting for you to say the phone lines are open.
I know.
But when you said that, I said, damn it, I'm going to do it. And I did it.
You did.
It sat there and rang a few times, too. I thought maybe I was going to get that first caller reject,
Nah.
But it went on through, though. It went through first time. That shocked the hell out of me.
Me, too.
But anyway, Mr. Gully, I tell you what, it's been your pleasure to get to talk to me.
Yes.
And I'm glad I made it through and was able to talk to you and everything, and hope everything's going fine out there in the big country of Texas.
It is.
And I know you like it out there better than you do up there in Utah. I guess.
I like it here better than anywhere else. So.
Well, I was going to say, I haven't heard you complain about it, so I thought you had to like it better than Utah because you loved Utah. But anyways, and on that note,
all right, man. Have a good evening.
I will go, and I will talk to you later. You have a good one. Have a nice weekend, Mr. Gully.
All right, take care. That's the legendary Wild Bill. Often imitated, never duplicated. Unitape. I think I've got some Unitape. I think I had some Unitape. All right, kids, I got to get out of here. I don't know what we're doing Sunday. I got to figure something out, but we need to do a members thing on Sunday. Members. Some sort of member thing for members. Yeah. Okay, then. Well, I'm so glad we've had this time together just to share a song, sing a song, share a laugh too. You guys are the best, and I mean the very best, but the very best among you are Toby McGroby, who was kind enough to donate this afternoon, and so was Terry Nee. And daggone it, kids, I'm working as hard as I can to make this show better. This will give you some idea of how much skill I have. All right. It was fun. We're going to do it again. I'm going over to Shuli's show, though. I want to see that. So, vote of confidence. Damn straight. That vote of confidence. I'll see you guys over at Shuli's. Till next time. We'll see you next time.
They call me Mr. Lucky, and I guess I am. I got a world of hurt living under my shirt. I don't want to talk about that. right out of my pants.